know where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
Hey there, Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns. Just want to comment and say BetOnline is your #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for football, baseball, boxing, golf, and much more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns, your post-game show. I'm Marcus Dash here with my brother Teja Dash, and of course, legendary Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn. So right now, I'm putting on a happy face right now to be the host and try to introduce everything. But right now, I am dying inside. Watching the end of that game was horrible for me, and I'm sure for everybody else in Chiefs Kingdom. So there's a few things to kind of look at here, but we're just going to dive into the offense right away. I know everyone's talking about MVS. That's the big story right now, MVS. That was one awful play in a myriad of bad plays tonight. But yeah, that dropping a bomb to win the game at the end of it, yeah, that's gonna linger with us for a long time. And obviously the nickname MVS is making its rounds again. But no points. The big thing that stood out to me tonight, and I'm going to go through what you guys think are the biggest problems with the offense tonight. Biggest thing for me was no points in the second half for the second straight game. Germany, we started off hot. Second half, we didn't score anything. Defense held their own. This game, defense did do a great job. They did amazing, but we didn't score. We didn't do anything to help them out in the second half. We didn't score again for 2 games in a row. You would never think a Mahomes, Andy Reid offense would have this problem. We're not scoring in the second half of game for 2 straight games, especially coming off after a bye week. That's the part that scares me the most. Off a bye week, and we didn't score in the second half of this game tonight. And it's a huge Monday night game. JD, I'll let you have the floor here. What was your biggest complaint about what you saw tonight?
Biggest complaint that I saw tonight was one, turnovers for sure. Okay, turnovers in the red zone in particular, which killed us, and penalties. Penalties is hurting us as well. And so we've struggled with, I've really been trying to be somewhat generous, but with both tackles sometimes with what we do, putting it is in, first and 20. Second and 15, and just those long second and third downs, which always put you in a tough position to try to get first downs. Not to mention the play calling. Okay, also too, second half in the red zone. The first interception that Patrick threw down there, we run the ball all the way down into the red zone, and then all of a sudden we pass it, and it was like all you had to do just keep running that daggone football. You score like that. Literally at that moment, we are dominating that defensive line. What it does to a team mentally, like just keep running it down their throats. That's hard for them to deal with. Now all of a sudden you give them a booster, confidence booster by getting a turnover. So here we was facing having a touchdown, run down their throats, and we let them off the hook, and we give them give them a turnover. So those are the things. And also, too, like the same thing with the special teams. Our return game is horrible. Return game is absolutely horrible. He's not getting anybody out there blocking for him. The guys out there who's covering the gunner, it's a terrible job. Terrible job. So those are the things I see. Offensively, we know what it is. Turnovers, penalties, play calling. But also, too, in the special teams, that return game, man, is critical, and it's killing us. It's killing us. So,
Teja, what were your thoughts on offensive miscues today?
Well, I'm currently going through our box scores to see if any one of our receivers have had more targets than Justin Watson had tonight. 11 targets so far. Only Kelce's beaten that this season. So, you were talking to JD. I was talking to JD before we started the show. I was just like, there's got to be a reason they just keep going back to him and designing these plays, and they're calling his number a lot. Justin Watson's just like 5 of 11. I know he made a great play, but it doesn't excuse 2 to 3 other bad ones that he made. 2 horrible drops, even at the end of the game. I mean, he could have got that ball, had a lot of juice on it, but I can't say the word drop without bringing up MVS. So I think, yeah, just drops in our receivers. Look, I mean, I've tried to defend our guys. I've had a positive outlook pretty much all year, and it's not homerism. It's just I've tried to give these guys a chance. They're young, and I don't expect them to be Pro Bowlers in the first 3 or 4 games. But this is kind of our season summing up. Whenever it ends, good or bad, a Super Bowl victory or disappointing first or second round loss, drops and poor receiver plays is a huge, huge chunk of this season story.
Well, the problem is we just don't have a consistent deep ball wide receiver. We don't have one. And if our best option is Justin Watson throwing the deep ball to him, then we're in a lot of trouble. And I don't understand why we're not seeing McCole Hardman doing some of those routes. I don't understand why we can't get Rashid Rice running some deep routes. I don't understand it. And so when I'm thinking about deep ball wide receiver, we're not running the right route, or the route looks like we don't know what we're running, and Pat's throwing the ball, and you see the eyes and Andy and Patrick, and they're like staring off his face like, what am I supposed to do? I mean, shit, I throw it up there for him. Now it's for them to go get it. Now, the one where I heard Troy was talking about, Justin Watson, he stacked the guy. Okay, stack him. Now get on the outside like you won. That's exactly what we're supposed to do. Now finish the play, finish the route, which you're supposed to do, right? Where Patrick threw it is supposed to be the outside shoulder. That's how it's supposed to go. I just, for the life of me, and I've said this, as far as whatever this, how are they teaching these guys or coaching the deep ball wide receivers? It's not working. So is it the coaching? Is it what they're being told? I would love to be a fly on the wall in the room, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, right? I mean, we had Al Saunders on here. We were just talking about certain things you do, right? And look, make no mistake about it. I think the very first half, it looked like they came out from a bye week and they almost had it figured out. It looked pretty good, right? They was moving the ball. They was moving the chains the way it's supposed to look, right? And, you come out rusty. I didn't mind the first series, right? Because, everybody's still trying to get the lick out of them, all those different things, okay? Get the girls out of your head, whatever it is. Now you lock back in, right? Philly went through the same thing. Get the ball back, come back down and we score. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, we forgot what got us there. Running Pacheco. Pacheco was eating them alive.
I know.
Hell, we had daggone CEH come in to get some playing time, some reps. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, it's like, what's going on? Let's get clever again and throw the football. Al Saunders said it best. What you don't want to do, you've got to break your tendencies, okay? You don't become so mechanical in the things that you're doing. So predictable in what you're doing offensively. And that's what you have to do. You got to change it up. I love 12 personnel. 12 personnel was working. I love that. I love seeing bigger receivers in the game. And the rotation they had early was working. You had Kadarius Toney, Justin Watson, Rashid Rice. I think you had McCole Hardman coming in.
Yep.
And that was the rotation. It looked good. And then Noah Gray coming in. Okay. And it just seemed like a much powerful personnel group. And it just, all of a sudden, we stalled out and started doing some other things. And then it didn't look good. It looked like all of a sudden, heck, we went and got our old, because everybody believes we using different playbooks. Like we went back and got our old playbook from before the bye week, and we didn't. There ain't no new playbooks. These guys got to perform, man. Pure and simple. Guys got to perform. So I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm gonna start cussing up here for real. But go ahead. Go ahead.
I said this at one point during the game to Marcus. It was after one of our many bad drives in the second half. And there was the 30th Kansas City commercial on TV. I'm like, you know what, man? This is part of it. Like the whole team's doing commercials now. Like one guy, maybe two, but like you got multiple guys in your head coach. Like, get back to football, guys. Let's we're straying a little too far away from the football field, going international, going on commercials every other week with 30 different companies. I know maybe it's not a big deal at all, and whatever. That's their free time. Choose how you want to spend it. I guess I'm just a stupid fan while watching the game and seeing commercials on TV. I'm like, I just feel like in my head, I think it's a distraction, but it's not at all. But it's just how I feel in my head.
Jenny, what do you think about the extracurriculars?
You know what, man? Look, I don't care for any of that. I don't. None of it whatsoever. I'm looking at some of the chats over here, and somebody said somebody's got to be put on Andy. And I agree with him. I think Andy was putting him in the right position. I think somewhere at the point, I don't know if it was Nagy that was a lull in what we were doing second half. I just don't know, but it seemed like everything changed. The tempo wasn't the same. It just didn't seem that way. It just didn't. I just did not see that. And that's what you have to do. You have to have that type of tempo, that type of rhythm, especially when you're playing a team like this. Look, and here's the thing, man. We're not talking about just a regular team. We're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, guys that we played in the Super Bowl last year. We're talking about probably the best team in the NFC, okay? Right? By far. And so the two best teams just played tonight, okay? Let's not make no mistake about it, okay? I'm going to get on them because we do have the best team in the AFC. I just still believe we have the best team in the NFL. I really do. If we score points, we're up 10 points. We score one of those touchdowns, game over. I'm telling you, game is over, even third quarter, because they become one-dimensional, right? And they start doing things they don't like to do. And so Jalen Hurts was so out of touch with everything, just confused, getting hit, didn't know what to do. Like, we had his number. Spags and those guys, man, I cannot just keep keeping the praise on our defense, man. Those guys play phenomenal. I'm talking about just lights out. And they shut A.J. Brown's tail down. They shut it down. They shut his tail down, And I knew they had to rely on Devontae Smith. I knew they had to do that. That was going to be their guy. When I went on the show talking to my boy out there in Philadelphia, I was telling him another guy we can't let get going was DeAndre Swift. He's another guy. And Philly hadn't really been using him. That's the thing about it. He hadn't really been used by Philly. And so finally, Philly gets him to the outside, right? And when you're looking at what you're going against defensively, okay, I'm just going to talk about a couple plays while they were able to get to the edge. And sometimes we have our defensive ends are a little bit smaller, right? They'll run to the smaller defensive end, okay? And so we got hooked. We got hooked on a couple of times. But Spags, for the most part, and our corners and linebackers and deep line, they played a good game. I mean, you can only do so much, right? You can only keep them held down for so long, especially a team like this offensively that's a juggernaut. You can only hold them down for so long, man. So, man.
JD, sticking with the offense for a second. So you mentioned that rotation we had, and I thought that right out the gate in the first quarter of the game, you saw that there was a huge decrease in the reps that Sky Moore and MVS were getting. And this is, you said for a while that play was going to eventually do the talking on the field, and we would see a less in reps for those two guys. Obviously, we like that rotation, and I was surprised to see KT in there as much as possible, specifically in the backfield. Because, I mean, with the comments that Reed made this week, we're trying to, use him sparingly. We don't want him to get him re-injured. We want to kind of ease him back into things. And opposite happened. We saw him in there more tonight. Yeah, I would like his touches to go up offensively, but, hey, what he was doing as far as the special teams was fantastic. Needs better blocking out there to make more plays, but he's special out there. But talking about the offense and talking about the drops that we had, and also just the kind of the drops, but the most 3-and-outs we've had in a single game this year. We talked about this before on the show that we had the least amount of 3-and-outs than any other team in the league. Our 3-and-out rate was the lowest. It was our problem was once we got to the red zone, and tonight the red zone problems happened as far as the 2 turnovers. But we had Al Saunders on the show this week, and Al Saunders said the biggest thing he wanted to see was running in the red zone.
Yes.
And it seemed like second half, we weren't actually both possessions where we did turn over the ball. It was running until we got to the 20. But once we got there, it was like pass. I mean, just what do we have to do offensively? I mean, it's obviously an Andy Reid and Matt Nagy thing, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to, just the play calling aspect. Or does Mahomes have to? I mean, Mahomes can audible out of these plays if he sees a different look there, but is that not going to happen?
No, and he doesn't need to. You know, the thing is, Pacheco runs hard. He was getting hard yards, and that's the thing about it. And what ends up happening later on in the game is you wear the defensive line down, okay? And so we have big guys up front. I keep saying this. We have maulers up front. The reason we get caught holding and, you know, we got to, you know, hold the ball or at least try to block for 6 seconds, these guys like coming out of their cleats and hitting guys in the mouth. Donovan Smith, Juwan Taylor, they love coming off the football hitting guys. Thuney, Trey Smith, you know, and Creed love coming off and hitting guys. Let them do it. Let Pacheco run hard. When Pacheco was getting the football, and instead of running that wide zone when he had to bring him from the backfield and come across Patrick and try to get wide, that gives the linebackers more opportunity in the D-line to react, okay, to get into their gaps. And so they more gap sound when they do things like that, as opposed to running down the hill. So if you run the inside zone, it's an easy cut because it gets one cut. But when you take that time where you have to delay, come across, and then try to make a cut, and then trying to make a hole, that split second kills you in the NFL. Guys are too good, guys are too fast to ask guys to do, you know, a whole lot more than what you're asking them to do. We just got out of that. And like you were talking about, you alluded to, Al Saunders was sitting there saying, you got to run the ball in the red zone. You have to. That's what makes teams tough. You know what counts, you know, us being a tough team is when you just line up and you just decide that we're going to run it down your throats no matter what, and we're going to run it here. Sometimes we got to do that. That's why when we watch Philly line up in that little tush push, they don't worry about anything because they know they're going to get it. The confidence, when they get up there, they know they're going to get it. And defenses know. Defense is still trying to figure out, how do we stop this? How do we stop this? They got it down to the point, like, we don't care what you do. We're going to get this. We're going to run it here, and you're not going to stop us. Until you stop us, then what else are you going to do? Well, we can't get away from Pacheco. We just can't do that. The guy was eating tonight. He really was. And then all of a sudden we decided to get out of, this time he didn't get 5 yards in this one. Let's go back to just passing each and every time we get into it. I mean, we just, you know, second half, I forget, was like, what? We're looking at, possession-wise? I mean, daggone. We're talking punt, fumble, punt, turn them on downs. There it is. That's what
average yard per drive, 22 in the second half.
That's crazy. That's ridiculous.
Besides that one long drive that Kelce fumbled, our time of possession for each drive was 2 minutes, 36 seconds, 2 minutes, 1 second, 2 minutes, 42 seconds, 1 minute, 20, 1 minute, 20.
Yeah. And why is that? Because you're passing the football and you get the incomplete passes. Okay. Justin Watson had 3 drops tonight. 3 crucial ones. Okay. MVS, crucial drop. Crucial one. Kadarius Toney, like you said, look, he's a weapon. We always try to get, guys that are athletic in space to make plays. I get that part of it. We need to do a little bit more of that. I have no problem, no issue with that. Okay. Rashid Rice needed to be featured a little bit more in this game than he just wasn't. He just wasn't. So I just, I know I'm kind of venting here. I'm trying to be somewhat, kind of, all right. But, when I see, this type of ish coming on, man, it's crazy to me. It's ridiculous. Unacceptable, really unacceptable. 22 average yard. That's crazy.
JD, you've been a big defender of MVS amidst all this the whole season. He's been kind of getting called out, obscured by fans, just pretty much basing his play on the money he's making. And some fans feel that his contract kind of hindered us maybe making a play to a DeAndre Hopkins type of guy because we have MVS making $11 million on the roster right now.
Mm-hmm.
His play obviously has limited his snaps. That's why he wasn't out there coming out the bye week. I think it's a big deal. The fact that coming out the bye week in the first quarter of that game, he was not in that rotation of receivers. He and Sky Moore. But then when his number is called at the end of this game on a big play like that, something that he's pretty much made his money from being that deep threat in Green Bay, and he comes up short on that play there at the end. What is that? As a former player, what do you think that says about his confidence right now? And I mean, it's not good. I mean, at all.
No, that's tough. That's tough just to deal with. Obviously, because the fans are upset with it. You're upset with yourself, and I know how he feels. Nobody wants to drop the ball, let anybody down. Okay, the best thing the team can do is just rally and pick him up. Because look, we have MVS. We got him. Okay, this is who we have for the rest of the year. And our thing is, we got to do what we can, put arms around him to try to get him better, to get him paid. Look, I said this before. MVS, he's not going to catch volume but balls. He's not. He was supposed to be our deep threat receiver. I could probably count on one hand how many deep balls we've seen him, actually get, like chances like that, right? Of a deep pass, like actually in the middle, like a run at a post. I mean, maybe two that I've seen in the last few weeks on something like that. And I said on one hand. So, like I said, we don't have a consistent deep wide receiver threat. We just don't have one. We don't have one. And he should have been the guy. We paid him $11 million to be that guy, right?
Just to be that guy.
Yeah. That's like when you come in, I knew what my role was going to be. Okay. Hey, JD, we don't need for you to catch 80, 90 balls this week. We got this, curly head joke over here, Tony Gonzalez, okay, who's running on his toes to do that. All right. We need for you to fold up some defensive ends and linebackers. Okay, cool. I got it. I understand my role. I could do that. Okay. Same thing with MVS. Hey, MVS, we need for you to get over the top of safety or run past the corner and go for a deep route and get a deep ball. Go up and go get it. Cool, coach. I got it. And it just seemed like, I don't know, for the first half of the season, like nobody knew what their role was going to be. And I get if a coach is sitting over telling you like, hey, look, we want your role to change. We think you could do more. Okay. We think when you was up there in Green Bay, you was a gadget guy. They just run deep routes. But we think you can actually catch about 67 balls a year. Right. So if they were telling him that's the reason they paid him $11 million. Okay. Now I want to count a man's money. Okay. But the thing is, this is a performance-based business. It's a performance-based business. They pay you based off your performance or perceived performance. That's what it's going to be, pure and simple. So if you're not getting that, everybody's going to question, well, where's the money going? Right? Is he worth this and that? My thing is this, man. And look, I know how hard it is to play NFL. I really do. Okay? The other guys on the side get paid too. You understand? They really do. But there's got to be a point where something has to turn on to you to get better, stay after practice, make deeper balls. Like, you should be catching at least 25 deep balls at the end of practice with Patrick Mahomes. Or not just Patrick, another quarterback just throwing you deep balls. Just work on it if that's going to be the case. That way the coaches can see it. You can just work on it. You can work on your confidence there. And I just hated that he dropped that ball. I really do. I hated that he dropped that ball, because I know how he feels about things like that, man. So I just want to pick him up. Come on, man. MVS, look, it's still a long season. It's still got a whole lot of games left. You can still get better. You really can, okay? You didn't get to come up with it this past game, but we're going to need you, okay? Hey, we need you to pay $11 million. We didn't pay Justin Watson $11 million to do your job. You understand? We paid Justin Watson, what was it, $3 million? Okay?
Yeah.
Justin Watson's supposed to be the reinforced guy. He's not supposed to be the main guy. But if he shows up, then so be it. He has to show up. So, yeah, is that the state of where we are? Man, it's just so much there. It's just so much there. So, go ahead, Tate. What do you think?
It must sting even worse for MVS to drop that ball rather than, like, if Rashee Rice dropped that ball, right? Because Rashee Rice is a receiver that does so much for us. But when that's like MVS is pretty much the reason why he's here, and drops that ball for the one reason that he's here. Like you can't really redeem yourself, MVS, other than catching another deep ball for the most part. So if you're not catching it, it's like a home run hitter who can't hit home runs anymore. It's like, well, then you're not here for your 220 average. Like, you're not an all-around good hitter who can't hit home runs, but you still steal bases. You still get on base. Like, that's all you can do, and you can't do it anymore. So, yeah, it's rough. And yes, by the way, that Justin Watson, that was the season high for receiver targets, and that's the second most targets by anyone on our team this entire season.
Really?
Yeah, Kelce only beat it once. I think Kelce had 13 in a week. Other than that, that is the second most targets anyone on the Chiefs has had this season.
Yeah, I feel like MVS has gotten a lot of crap in the chat and just all overall the season. I do want to focus in on one last person before we move on to the defense and kind of giving the defense their flowers, because although we lost the game, the defense stepped up, and you guys have mentioned it a little bit. What did you make of Travis Kelce tonight? Obviously, the fumble, a few drops in this one. I mean, we're lucky he caught that 4th and 2 one, because I mean, if he didn't catch that one, the game would have ended on 2 straight drops from Kelce. Obviously, I think that last drive, I think he redeemed himself a little bit, but what did you make of his play tonight? I mean, do you think the weather was a factor? I mean, I don't know, but I mean, this is one of the best times ever we're talking about here, and tonight he just looked. That fumble didn't help, but yeah, tonight just looked pretty rough, and I think his yards per catch tonight wasn't good either. So,
well, I think really, man, he's going to get double and triple team. After the Miami game, we're seeing that's what defense is going to do. That's what he's going to be seeing, probably for the rest of the year. And so teams just try to take him out of the game. You cannot let Travis Kelce beat you. And I'm sure the defensive coordinator will sit there saying, 87, I don't care what he does, hit him, make sure he's uncomfortable, whatever it may be, you make sure you do that. But I think, at times when you're not getting the ball, you try too hard to try to get, make plays. And that one where he kind of dropped it, trying to on the sideline where he didn't get the first, where the guy was like, I think it was like 3rd and whatever. And he got the first down the very next play. He was just trying hard. He wanted, like you said, redeem himself. But like you said, man, the guy made a good play punching the ball out. I mean, it was a perfect technique, right? It's perfect technique. But he got involved. I know it's frustrating. This is the second game where, you're going to get, pulled, scratched, bit, tore, and all those different things. So, he's the best in the business for a reason, and teams are going to respect him as such, right? So, like I said, man, you can't let a guy like Travis Kelce, who can do everything a wide receiver can do, has the best yak yards, best hips, who's just one of the most dangerous weapons in the NFL. He's the guy that you got to stop. Okay.
Other than the drop and the fumble, he just, I don't know if it's that knee injury that just lingered all year and he just hasn't gotten healthy. But outside of that, man, that he doesn't have that wiggle. Looks more like just a stutter at this point. I took a quick deep dive, JD, a quick one right before the show started.
Okay.
All right. Kelce, 20-yard or more catches in 2022, 12 to 2023, 3. So there's something to that. He's not, and maybe, you can't stop aging process. I'm not saying he lost like a step or two, but for the amount we rely on Kelce to drive the offense and give openings to other players, even if that guy loses 0.3 of a step, it's a huge deal because of how much we put on his back. Here you go, Kelce, put some more on there. Here you go, Kelce, put some more on there. If the guy's not moving fast enough, that your cargo's not going anywhere. So it's I just think with the amount we rely on him, I think we expected him not to slow down at all. And terrible luck, he hurts his knee one of the last plays before the first game of the season, and that could be it. I mean, after the season, if he gets a cleanup surgery, I'm not going to be surprised that he needed some work done on that knee. I'm really not. So who knows what he's got going on? He got up gimpy today after one point. There's a few games where he's got up and kind of getting checked out on the sidelines. I mean, it has hurt us though. Like his lack of yak and lack of wiggle and breaking tackles, it's noticeable.
Well, I mean, obviously, Father Time gets all of us, right? I mean, I do understand that, but I do believe a lot of it is because we do rely so much on Kelce.
Yeah, it's not fair.
And so he's just worn down because nobody else is stepping up. And so part of that is, hey, yeah, when he's sitting over here, he got double duty, triple duty. Now teams are sitting there saying, well, look, let's beat him up a little bit more, okay? Let's get him frustrated.
Yeah. All
of that weighs on you. You get tired dealing with things like that, right? And so even if that's, let's just say, okay, and I'm not saying this at all because I don't want to start that narrative because I think everybody's trying to get there like, oh, he's slowing down, he's doing all this. Daggone, the man that did everything. He's probably did everything you asked him to do. And so now you ask him to do even more, right? Because of, the challenges we have in the wide receiver room. Correct?
Yeah.
And so those things, because he hasn't had the volume of the ball thrown to him, that will just wear on you. And so like tonight, like he got his ankle rolled up on him, right? And he's trying to come in and be the warrior because he understands like everybody's relying on me.
Yeah.
You got to be that guy. So my thing is this, as long as he's moving the chains and some of that yak yard, I said those guys got to pick it up on around him.
Totally.
The other coaches got to understand that. Not only the other coaches, but Patrick Mahomes got to understand it too.
Yeah.
I made a comment to Marcus and was saying like Patrick still didn't want to throw some of the balls to the flat. You still didn't want to check some of the balls down. Like he's looking for the deep ball. And I'm just like, yo, just throw it to the flat. You got 5 yards, 5 to 7 yards. Take that. Just take it. Take what the defense is giving you. And so it's not going to just be Kelce being worn down like this. It's going to be it's going to be Patrick Mahomes too. That's the reality. That's just the reality of these things. So we could look at Joe Burrow being a case. Okay, Joe Burrow's having little things here, little there. He's getting beat up. All of a sudden, you got $52 or $54 million sitting at home right now.
I know.
So, right, Josh Allen. Oh my gosh, what's going on with Josh Allen? Well, Josh Allen's getting his ass kicked. That's what's happening.
Yeah,
that's what it is. So he's putting a whole lot more on it than he needs to. So that all those things, I know all those factors, but I don't want to get into like the whole, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm not saying, hold on. Let me clarify before you finish the sentence. I'm not saying Kelce's done or cooked or any of that stupid garbage. I'm not saying that. He's doing a natural progression of someone his age. Every year, it's a little slower. LeBron's a good example of that. Like LeBron's a quarter step slower for LeBron is still better than most of the NBA. Same with Kelce. Kelce at 85%, 90% of what he was last year is still a 1,200-yard, 110-catch receiver, tight end, whatever you want to call him. So, like, I'm not saying that at all, but it's just not fair for us to expect him to go ageless every year.
Right.
And then have to go up to him every game and be like, sorry, if we don't throw to you, we got to throw to Justin Watson. Come on, you're going to catch those balls for us, right? Like, I mean, it's almost like a threat now. If I don't throw to you, I'm going to Justin Watson. It's like, oh, man, fine, throw it to me. It's like,
so what we doing in this situation, we got to get people around it, right?
Yeah.
Some young guys, some young talent around it, so everything isn't on his shoulders. So we're not wearing him down. And all of a sudden, we get him out of the league now because he's plagued by injuries and all those different things, right? And look, man, as a guy who played 11 years, 12 years in the NFL, I understand the grind of coming in and week out, just getting hit. And, man, it will tear you apart, okay? Just like you said, knees, hips, whatever it may be. Now he's got a girlfriend he's got to keep up with, you know what I mean, around the world. That's a joke, because I know people are talking about Taylor Swift. Read all of that.
We're lucky Taylor Swift's parents didn't come to the game, because then everyone would be saying he was preoccupied thinking of his parents meeting her parents the entire time, like a high school kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, yeah, touchdown at least, though. So
that's true. He definitely had a decent fantasy day, that's for sure.
Yeah, decent fantasy day. Yeah. So
I'm not going to complain.
So, we just want to talk about that defense. I've seen some people say talk about Snead and McDuffie being beasts, and they are. I think ARG and KC mentioned that in the chat. Yeah, let's talk about the defense a little bit. This is probably the worst game offensively for Jalen Hurts this year. Definitely the worst game offensively for AJ Brown this year, only having one catch in this game. Defensively, 5 sacks, all in the first half, which is interesting. All came in the first half, second half, no sacks. The INT, but I mean, the way L'Jarius Sneed just from the jump, the same way they attacked Tyreek Hill, getting physical with them right out the jump. They did that with AJ Brown today, and then McDuffie just flying in and doing what he normally does. I think he had 2 sacks tonight. What did you make of the defense? Obviously, without the defense, we're a 3-7 team. Someone made a comment in there. I mean, it's true. I mean, without our defense this year, this team is not 7-3. This team is 3-7, 4-6. I was talk about the defense tonight, JD. What are you gonna say about what you saw from the defense?
Well, first, let me address that statement. Okay, this is a team sport. That's how it works in the NFL. And so every team, like somebody has to show up every single game. So somebody, oh yeah, we will be without. Okay, sure. You use that argument for anybody, any team, whatever it may be, right? The Eagles are they're not winning the mini game without Jalen Hurts, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
So here's the thing. Our defense, man, played absolutely wonderful football. Wonderful football. Corners, slot, McDuffie, man, I tell you what, McDuffie, man, to me, man, is such an exciting player to watch defensively because he's just all over the field. And you just see the hunger and the passion that they play with. These guys out there just having fun. I mean, I'm talking about every single time they go out there, they are just out there flying around, having a great time. And so the thing is, our defense are absolutely lights out ballers. And it's unfair to them that our offense is not doing what they need to do. Now, I think the second half, because we wasn't getting the sacks, they was running the 4 wide. Okay, they was running maybe a little bit of the empty, and so we seen some more of that. So we had to drop out in coverage. Now, if I was Spags, I still would have brought a little bit of the blitz, but they was calling it out. They was sliding the protection a little bit. I was seeing how they was making the count, and Kelce, Jason, did a much better job tagging who was going to be the blitzer, right? And I was just like, okay, they kind of figured the blitzing scheme out somewhat. And Jalen was being a little bit more patient with what he was doing. But the first half, man, we had him just really off his rocker. He didn't know what to do. He's just off balance. And sometimes when you're thinking about it, if you're going to have a blitz, you have wide receivers like Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. At that moment, you just throw it up one-on-one. You just hope your guy's going to be better than their guy, okay? And so that's what you try to do with the blitz is like, hey, let's exploit the one-on-one challenge. But defense played well, played masterful.
Yeah, it seemed like they definitely did their film study this week, JD, because they were sniffing out those screen passes so easily in the second half of that game. We almost had that pick with Sneed read that thing beautifully.
Yeah, well, Spags, man, like I said, has been doing a tremendous job. He really has, and I just want to give him an attaboy. When you're sitting over here and you could do whatever you want to do, and that's what it looked like. Because he just got his cars and he got his toys to do whatever you want to do. And when you see him on the sideline, he can call pretty much anything. And so it was good to see the 5 sacks that the guys had, man, in the first half. I thought we was going to get more. But, the teams make adjustments. They make adjustments. Our offense didn't do it the second half. But they did. They did.
I never thought I would hear the words a good defensive game spoiled by the Chiefs offense. It's just funny to hear that. You're used to hearing the opposite or thinking the opposite, right? Dude, they balled out. They had 9 tackles for losses, 5 sacks. I mean, Justin Reed, another good game. He's had a really good season. Tranquil came up big again. I thought he had a good game. The script was there. Hurts, 150 yards. Lowest since November 2021, almost 2 years to the day. A.J. Brown, 1 catch, 8 yards. Lowest since last November. So lowest 1 catch in a year. That's what you got to do. I mean, what's crazy is that, I know the Eagles have had some bad games before, but you put in you have the blueprint. Teams that can watch this, what we did, be like, okay, we kind of know how to do this now. You just blanket Brown. And he has to just get lucky on a Devonta Smith catch. And that was Edwards on him. I don't expect Edwards to be sticking on Devonta Smith on deep routes like that. That's not his thing. But
close, though.
He was pretty close. Yeah, I think I just thought he put his hands up a little too late.
A hair second, yeah.
Well, I don't think he was expecting the ball to be so underthrown. I thought he just thought he was going to be way in front of him. Then Devontae Smith kind of pulled up for a second and just kind of, cradled it in there. But overall, just, a great game. It's encouraging as hell, though. I mean, this is why I'm not totally doom and gloom. We had 2 red zone turnovers, and we lost by 4. So we did a great job against one of the best offensive teams. We didn't lose. I mean, I'd rather lose this than lose the Bronco type game. You know what I mean? Like, at least the Eagles are really good. Eagles are getting revenge for the Super Bowl. So, and like a good friend of mine said, if you're going to face them again in the Super Bowl, you'd rather lose this game now and then, get revenge in the Super Bowl against the Eagles rather than win 2 straight and then have to play them after winning 2 straight in the Super Bowl, because it's tough to beat a team 3 times in a row.
No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
So before we end the show here, I know tomorrow JD and I will be on our live stream on our YouTube channel, grading tonight's game. And then Wednesday we'll have a special guest in Larry Kirksey coming on for a live stream, receivers coached in the NFL for a long time. And now I believe he's in the USFL, and he'll be on talking receiver issues. And it's a great time to talk about these complex receiver issues that we got going on. But I want to end this segment now on this. Talk to me like I'm one of these fans who is doom and gloom right now. Give me reasons why I should be optimistic, because right now there's some fans out there who are very pessimistic because Andy Reid after bye week's not supposed to lose. He's not supposed to lose after bye week. We haven't come. We don't really know that. So like, talk to me like give me a reason why I should be pumped right now about the squad. 7-3. We're still the top seed in the AFC right now. Actually, I don't know if are we still a top seed over Baltimore right now, or is that's coming in closer? I think, right?
I don't believe that. Not after that loss. Depends on the tiebreaker.
Okay.
Yeah. And if we're not, at the end of the year, we will be. So.
Yep.
No, we're not. Well, it hasn't updated yet, so I don't know. Sorry.
Okay. So, JD, give me reasons why I should be optimistic about the squad going forward.
For a number of reasons. Okay. We just took the best team in the NFC, second best team in football, and we had them beat, and we let them off the hook. We actually let them in the game. And so that win that they had was just our loss. That was on us all the way. And we dominated this team. We absolutely dominated Philadelphia. So that's why it shouldn't be no doom and gloom. For one, this is the NFL. These things do happen. So I think that because we have the right pieces on offense, with Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, we got to get everybody else around them going. And I think the first half of this game showed you our ability to do that. Okay. We just got to build on those things. Okay. Second half of the game is something that we got to throw it away and say, hey, look, the first half of the game is a positive point. That's what we have to build on to be better, to be Super Bowl winners. That's what we have to do. But we actually took this team to the woodshed tonight. We really did. Defensively, I like everything that we do. I love our corners. Our corners could go against anybody in the NFL, and we don't have to worry about anything. And the way I'm looking at it right now, just in the schedule in itself, we got the Packers, we got the Raiders, we got the Bills, Patriots, Raiders again, Bengals, and the Chargers. We don't play the best. We didn't play the best wide receivers in the game. We have. So I'm not worried about the defense. Defense is going to do fine. We're going to be fine. We just got to keep sawing wood, keep breaking big bricks on the offensive side of the ball. We got to get that special teams going. The return game, we have got to get that going. So the little tweaks are just finding the guys that need to play that same rotation. Keep that rotation going. Kadarius Toney, Justin Watson, Rasheed Rice, McCole Hardman. That's got to be your guys, okay? That's got to be your guys until MVS decides to get better and Sky Moore decides to get better. Those things need to happen. But other than that, we got to put these things in perspective. Like I just said, these are the 2 best teams in the NFL playing tonight. The 2 best. So, hey, we're fine. We're good. I'm saying, not saying, oh, we're fine. We're going to be just okay and just leave our hands and not work on anything. I'm saying from this point on, let's keep building on the things that we need to get better at. So whatever that needs to be done in the wide receiver room, because it's always going to be the topic of conversation. It's been the narrative all season. Okay, let's keep getting better in that room. Let's keep getting better in that room. So that's why it shouldn't be doom and gloom.
Teja?
Specific to this game, I mean, we outplayed them in most parts of the game. Time of possession we had by 4 minutes. Lost a turnover battle, which is pretty much why we lost in the end. Everything else we pretty much took down. We had 20 more plays than them. That's crazy. We almost had more third down conversions than they had third down attempts, 8 to 11. I mean, that's ridiculous. We just had too much empty drives that just didn't do anything. That's the problem. We had a lot of good looking drives that we didn't score on. What do you know? Another bad red zone game. 2 of 4. That's not going to cut it. Long term though, I think it's really encouraging that I would be a lot more worried right now if our offense was always doing its thing and our defense was giving up like 35, 40 points a game. Because then you have to sustain that level. And you have to hope for Patrick to do it every single time. And with Kelce aging and whatnot and the challenges we have, I wouldn't want to do that. We have something that will travel in the playoffs in case we have to go on the road. That defense and that pass rush, that will travel. And if you can get pass rush on any good quarterback, elite quarterback in the league without having to blitz, or if you scheme them up correctly the way we do, then they just look normal. They just look human. They look like Hurts in 150 yards is what they look like. I'm very optimistic about our easy schedule the rest of the way. Hopefully we get home field. If we don't, we have to travel. Then I love the kind of team we have traveling in cold in the winter. This is the kind of team you need. If all we need to succeed in the playoffs is just for our offense to get better in the red zone and not turn the ball over, then I'm incredibly optimistic the rest of the way. And I think we go and win the Super Bowl.
Hey, you talked me off the ledge there, guys.
Yeah. You feel better now?
I feel better now.
All right.
And look, reality is we got the guys to do it. We got the Super Bowl champs, defending champs in the room. Like, if you're abandoning ship and you're so upset with this right now, then you to me, honestly, I'll say this: then you was never really a true fan. So yeah, I'm gonna question that. Ain't no sense abandoning the ship when we got 3 losses. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine, right? So we got the right guys in the room to get those things done. But yeah, be encouraged. Okay, be encouraged that we're gonna be all right. All right, steam for a little bit. Everybody will be upset. Yeah. Okay, hey.
Be upset. Be upset. Take a walk around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And come on back and sit down and finish your food.
Yeah. Right. Dog, hey, look, dog cussing for the next 24 hours. What do you need to do?
Yeah.
Look up your paper and all that, and throw your TV around. At the end of the day, look, these guys, I got trust and confidence that the best team in football, which is the Kansas City Chiefs, will get it done at the end of the day.
And I'll tell you what you need to do. You need to go on to Chief Concerns on YouTube and follow me, JD, Teja, on Chief Concerns on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and come on our grade show tomorrow as JD breaks down the film and he breaks down his grades for each position group. And then after that, we put away the books for this Week 11 game. We're on to our next game, the Raiders, on a Thanksgiving weekend. So nothing better to make up for a loss is playing the Raiders on a Thanksgiving weekend, to fill up on the leftovers and stuff and watch a nice little butt beating, a nice little ass whooping on Thanksgiving weekend to end it.
Man. You're really juicing the Raider fans up on Raider week, huh?
Bring it, baby.
Juicing like a turkey, like a basting a turkey, huh?
Bring it on, baby.
Look, hey, make sure, everybody that came in the chat, please do not miss Larry Kirksey coming out, okay? And I'm telling you, the guys that he coached, Jerry Rice, T.O., you name it. We can go in, Andre Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins. You'll name the guys that he had, and you'll say, oh, my gosh, I didn't know he was a guy teaching these wide receivers. We're going to talk wide receiver ball. We're going to talk wide receiver fundamental technique, what it takes to be better, and hopefully I'm going to send this information to the wide receiver coach with the Chiefs, Connor, my man. Okay.
What a perfect week for to have him on, by the way.
Yes, sir. We
know what we're doing. Our schedule makers know exactly what they're doing, right, JD?
That's right. He's the man. Good guy, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, legendary.
Yeah, that's a resume.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can't wait to have him on and see what he thinks about all this that's going on in Chiefs Kingdom. But for that, again, everybody go to check us out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Chief Concerns, with myself and former Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn. And so hope everyone has a good night. Everyone relax, rest, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Later on.
See you guys.
All right,
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.